Bloodborne came to me because I personally like the aesthetic a little bit more than the Dark Souls series. I want to play as a badass cloaked deer-headed man, not a hefty suffocation risk waiting to happen. So I got the game last year after a long time of wanting to get it, but just not bothering. Then after it was kind of just thrust upon me like some kind of 2020 presidential candidate, I felt obligated to play it. I gotta say the simplicity of the intro screen was what got me really psyched to begin with. Just the logo, the background, and a song that would top the list of obvious choices for menacing and ominous intro songs. Started up, made my guy, and proceeded. After the beginning cutscene, I started it up, and was perplexed by the fact that all I got to start me off in terms of motivation to begin my quest was a handwritten scroll that read, "Seek pale blood to transcend the hunt." I'd heard the stories of these games were epic and badass and dummy thick with lore, but all I get to start Bloodborne is just one line? Okay then. I guess I'm so used to games nowadays just going through the cinematic route and holding every inch of your body, including but not limited to your hand, through the beginning to set up your character's motivations to get through the quest. But whatever, it was refreshing if nothing else, and actually withholding any more story enticed me to pay more attention. The lack of extremity holding is not alleviated when I encountered the first enemy. A fucking werewolf looking ass munching on a corpse like a junkie trying to get into a score bag at 4 a.m. I thought, well, I'm well versed in third-person games, so 1, I know that I have to fight this thing to proceed because there's an invisible barrier up there that'll stop me going forward until that thing is dead. And 2, I should be able to kick this thing's ass because of said well-versedness in third-person games. And, well... It didn't quite happen like that. Good way to just stomp down my ego into the mud and let me know exactly what kind of experience I'm in for. I then hazily entered the Hunter's Dream, where I was gifted the 2 bread and butter objects of any great third-person combat simulator. A flintlock pistol, and a saw the size of my bleeding torso. I then spoke with Gehrman, the resident creepy old guy who told me everything in the dream was at my disposal. Even the doll. No thanks, dude. I haven't played with dolls in a few years. Not since the dreaded lodging of 07. I was then sent on my way back to the clinic to compete with a transformed Van Helsing, where I promptly got sent right back to the Hunter's Dream with my pistol between my legs, because it had been shoved promptly up my arse like aforementioned doll incident. I thought I was doing something wrong. I know these games were famed for being harder than Jimmy Savile 2 miles from an orphanage, but surely it was something to do with the game's design. I had to face some easier enemy first, right? I just missed them earlier on in the clinic. Or there's a stronger weapon somewhere else in the dream. Or Gehrman will come through to show me exactly what I need to do to eliminate the big scary dog 10 feet away, hungrily licking his chops in my direction. Nope. You just have to kill it. It needs to die, and you need to be the one to put it down. Eventually, I just barely slaughtered the thing, and, with sweat clawing up the controller, I proceeded up the stairs and opened the gates to Central Yarnum, where my nightmare then began. Yeah, it was a slaughter. So I was stuck in Central Yarnum for about 5 months. I had to breach into your stinking dimension for 5 months just to keep getting the crap kicked, shot, slashed, slammed, bitten, slashed again, and burned out of me. I thought, how is this fun? One of the so-called best games released for this console generation, and I can't even get through the first half of the first damn level? What? I kept thinking it was a design flaw. Surely there was an entire area filled with incredible new weapons and a full tutorial that the game did a piss-poor job telling me about. But, no. No matter where I looked, there was nowhere to help me out. Not even the tutorial area of the Hunter's Dreams could settle my confusion. So, I just kept slamming my head against the Bloodborne wall, my confusion and frustration rising to the point where I really didn't care about the obvious cranial injuries I was sustaining. I somehow, then, found myself running towards the end of this bridge, for no other reason than it looked neat. And then this fucking thing decided to jump out of the arse end of nowhere and give me a square go. So, naturally, I square goed it right back. What have I got to lose? I square goed it to the point that I actually got half its health down. Then I realised, whoa, wait, I've barely gotten through this area, and yet I've got this beast that's twice the size of any beastie I've encountered thus far, down to half of his livelihood? What? I mean, I died, obviously, But now I had a goal, an arch-enemy, someone to focus all my energy on. So I went back again, and eventually the cleric beast fell to the teeth of my saw cleaver. As the blood rained down and my echoes shot up, I got it. I understood the feeling. I now finally got where people were coming from with games like this. I then obviously continued, and 100 hours later, I finally got an ending, earned at least some bragging rights, and now had a serious contender for one of the best overall constructed games I've ever played. Thank you, From Software. You made me want to die, but then you made me appreciate the value of living. Because if I wasn't alive, I wouldn't be able to play Bloodborne. This game shook me to my very core and challenged my essence as a player of video games, and I could literally not be happier for it. Cheers to you, Bloodborne, for reigniting my passion for games, and giving me an easy topic to fall back on if the industry ever dries up. Thank you for watching. Just a little update before I let you go. Daredevil Episode 6 is in pre-production, in that I've thought about it once or twice this week. I've got a few smaller topics that I do want to talk about, but if there's anything in particular you'd like to hear my thoughts on, then by all means drop it below, and I'll see what I can do. I also recently hit 50 subscribers, which is pretty awesome, so thanks for that. That's all from me for now, so thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.